Whatever your favorite food may be, it almost certainly hasn't played as important a role in history as bread. Historians say that bread helped bring about the formation of human societies. You can't say the same thing about chocolate chip cookies, even though they're wonderful.
No argument. Maine has a lot of bakeries turning out superb bread right now, so we asked Joe Ricchio, a food writer in Maine and host of the Food Coma podcast, to pick some of his favorites. He came up with 5, starting with Solo Cucina Market in South Portland.
I love their sesame baguette. It's just, especially if you get there and it's like warm out of the oven, like any kind of sesame bread I'm pretty obsessed with. It's incredible. Also, they do a really nice, like a white bread dinner roll kind of thing, which you don't necessarily see as often in outside of like the grocery store. So to have it done really well is really delicious. But I mean, and then they have, you'll see things like fig and walnut bread certain days of the week. There's definitely reasons to go back throughout the week, but all their pastries are solid, fantastic.
Another place on your list, Tinder Hearth in Brooksville. What's the appeal here?
So that's up in the kind of the Blue Hill area. They are just one of those, established wood-fired bakeries, known for both their bread. Also, their pizza nights are pretty famous up in the area. They do a really nice spelt loaf, miche, French batard. That you can actually check it online. They have a pretty well-rounded selection, but again, just that kind of very old world style. That you can taste, like I said, taste the quality of the dough and the flour that they use.
Moving on, number 3 on the list, Black Crow in Litchfield. And we should mention, you haven't ranked these, top to bottom, best to worst, worst to best. These are just 5 that you like. So Black Crow
a lot of great bakeries in Maine. These are just 5 particular ones that I think have great bread. So yes, Black Crow is another similar to Tinder Hearth, wood-fired, everything done the old way, just a barn in Litchfield. It's easy to sort of miss if you're driving by it. It's very small production. And then you'll find randomly they do things like Anadama bread as a special, which is there any better breakfast bread than Anadama? It's like, it's delicious. So again, you can check on there. You check on a lot of these, the smaller ones, you check on the Instagram page and you can see what's coming up as a special, or, if you live in the area, I'm sure it's just a given. That's where you get your bread. So
it's a very natural thing for all of us to say, oh, things used to be better back in the old days. This was better, that was better when I was growing up, and so forth. But this is an area where things are at their best now, right? Are we now living in the best time for bread in Maine ever?
Yes. In terms of quality and availability of styles, absolutely. And it's very accessible. I mean, all over the state, there are this great artisan, like handmade, and I throw that term around, artisan, really great wood-fired breads. And it is a glorious time for bread. Yes.
Let's go to Biddeford for another bakery that you really like. This is Night Moves in Biddeford.
Yes. So Night Moves is another one which I had featured before when we've done bakeries, but they certainly were worth another mention. They use, their grain comes from Maine Grains up in Skowhegan, which, if you're familiar with kind of bread around the state, it's a really great source for that. I really like their different rye breads, their Nordic rye. They also do a spiced cherry rye, Levon, which is really nice as well. Again, it's just like with all of these, it's like bread is difficult to kind of really talk about and separate them when it's the same style. It's like how many adjectives you really have.
Yeah, we should make the point that the reason we do this segment is not to spark discussions about bread. It's to get people to go out and try good bread.
It's not a competition. It's the more the merrier,
Let's end with a place in Portland, Dinah's Cuisine, and you chose this because it has one style of bread in particular that you're really a fan of.
Yes, this is right up the street from my house. It is a kind of Middle Eastern bakery. It used to be called Amira Bread, and they do an amazing flatbread. You just always go in, it's always there, buy a pile of it. They refer to it as naan bread. That's why I wanted to add them to the list. So again, it's like, it's delicious bread. It's not the same category as all the other bakeries, but I will often stop and just grab a pile of flatbread just to have around the house, and it's delicious.
And if you'd like to see the full list of bread makers Joe talked about, you'll find it in the 207 section of our News Center Maine website and app, along with more information about Joe and his Food Coma podcast.